In the heart of London's bustling architectural district, William Rodriguez stood quietly by the window of Hartley and Associates, his slender frame almost invisible among the towering professionals around him. At 24, he was the youngest member of the firm, a position that often felt more like a burden than an opportunity. The office was a world of crisp white shirts, polished shoes, and sharp conversations. William's dark eyes traced the intricate architectural models displayed around the room, his fingers instinctively clutching a worn sketchbook that held more dreams than most people could imagine. Every page was a testament to his passion, detailed drawings that spoke of structures not yet built, designs that whispered of possibilities. Thomas Hartley, the firm's lead architect, was a man who commanded attention. Tall, with silver-streaked hair and piercing blue eyes, he moved through the office like a storm, his sharp words cutting through the air with precision. To him, William was nothing more than a background figure, someone to fetch coffee, organize files, and remain unseen. What Thomas didn't know was that William carried a legacy of construction knowledge passed down through generations. His grandfather, a master builder from a small town in northern England, had spent countless evenings teaching William about architecture, structural integrity, and the art of turning dreams into reality. On this particular morning, the office hummed with tension. A challenging project loomed, a complex urban development that had stumped the senior architects for weeks. William sat quietly at his desk, carefully sketching during his lunch break. His pencil moved with a dancer's grace, creating lines that told stories of innovative design and sustainable living. Thomas walked by, his shadow falling across William's drawing. In one swift motion, he snatched the sketchbook, his eyes scanning the intricate design with a mixture of curiosity and disdain. "What nonsense is this?" he proclaimed loudly, ensuring everyone in the office could hear. "This isn't architecture. These are nothing more than childish scribbles." The office fell silent. William's cheeks burned with embarrassment, but he remained still. Years of being overlooked had taught him to be invisible, to absorb criticism without reaction. But inside, his heart burned with a passion that could not be extinguished. His design was more than just lines on paper. It was a revolutionary approach to urban construction, a method that could transform how cities were built, how people lived, how communities connected. Each line represented hours of careful thought, generations of building knowledge, and a deep understanding of human needs. The other architects exchanged knowing glances. Some looked away, uncomfortable with Thomas's public humiliation. Others smirked, seeing William as just another young intern who didn't understand the complexities of real architectural work. William knew the truth. He knew that his design held potential that these experienced architects couldn't see. It was a bridge between traditional construction and modern sustainable living, a concept that could revolutionize urban development. As Thomas walked away, dropping the sketchbook carelessly on William's desk, something inside William shifted. The public humiliation, instead of breaking him, ignited a fire of determination. He would prove his worth. He would show Thomas and everyone else that true talent cannot be dismissed with a few harsh words. His grandfather's words echoed in his mind: "Architecture is not just about buildings, William. It's about solving human problems. It's about creating spaces that bring people together, that make life better." William carefully picked up his sketchbook, smoothing out the slightly crumpled pages. His fingers traced the lines of his design, each stroke a promise, each detail a challenge to those who had underestimated him. Little did Thomas know that this moment of public ridicule would become the turning point in William Rodriguez's journey. The overlooked intern was about to become something much more, a visionary who would change the face of urban architecture. The day continued, the office returned to its usual rhythm, and William remained at his desk, quiet, determined, and ready to prove his worth. The rain tapped against the office windows, creating a rhythmic soundtrack to the tension inside Hartley and Associates. Weeks had passed since Thomas's public humiliation of William, but the young architect's spirit remained unbroken. His grandfather's wisdom echoed in his mind: talent speaks louder than words. The firm was struggling with an impossible project, a complex urban redevelopment plan that seemed to challenge everything they knew about modern architecture. Senior architects huddled around massive tables, their expensive suits wrinkled, coffee cups scattered, frustration etched on their faces. William watched silently from the corner of the room. He understood something they didn't. Architecture wasn't just about impressive designs or expensive materials. It was about solving real human problems, about creating spaces that could transform communities. During late nights, while others went home, William worked. His small desk became a sanctuary of creativity. Sketches filled with innovative ideas covered every available surface. He combined traditional building techniques his grandfather had taught him with modern sustainable technologies. The project was for a challenging urban area, a neighborhood struggling with poor infrastructure, limited space, and community disconnection. Most architects saw it as an impossible task. William saw it as an opportunity to reimagine urban living. His design was revolutionary. It wasn't just a building plan, but a holistic approach to community development. Integrated green spaces, flexible living areas, community centers, and sustainable infrastructure formed the core of his concept. Each line on his blueprint represented a solution to a specific urban challenge. Thomas and the senior team had been working for weeks, producing design after design that failed to meet the client's complex requirements. They were frustrated, exhausted, and running out of time. The project's deadline was approaching, and they were no closer to a solution. What they didn't realize was that the solution was sitting quietly just a few desks away, sketching quietly and observing. William's design combined multiple innovative approaches. He had studied the neighborhood's history, its people, its challenges. His plan wasn't just about creating buildings, but about creating a living, breathing community ecosystem. He understood something fundamental that the senior architects had forgotten: architecture is about people, not just structures. Each design element was carefully considered, from the placement of community spaces to the integration of sustainable technologies. The night before the final design submission, William worked tirelessly. His desk was a landscape of drawings, calculations, and intricate plans. Coffee cups surrounded him, testament to hours of focused work. Outside, the city slept, unaware of the potential transformation being sketched in this quiet office. His design was a delicate balance of functionality and beauty. Traditional architectural principles merged with cutting-edge sustainable technologies. Community needs were woven into every aspect of the plan. As dawn broke, William completed his final drawing. He knew this was more than just a project submission. This was his chance to prove his worth, to show that potential isn't determined by age or position, but by passion and understanding. His hands trembled slightly as he carefully organized his drawings. Years of learning from his grandfather, of studying architecture, of believing in his vision, everything had led to this moment. The office would open soon. Thomas and the senior team would review the final submissions. William knew the odds were against him. He was still the junior intern, the person they had repeatedly overlooked and dismissed. But something inside him remained hopeful. His grandfather had always told him that true talent finds its way, that patience and persistence were the greatest tools an architect could possess. As the first rays of morning sunlight filtered through the office windows, William looked at his drawings. Each line told a story. Each design element represented a solution. This wasn't just a project, this was his declaration of potential. He took a deep breath, gathered his drawings, and prepared to face whatever the day would bring. Somewhere between hope and determination, William knew his moment was coming. The city outside continued its morning rhythm, unaware that a quiet revolution was about to begin. The conference room felt electric with anticipation. William stood at the back, his hands slightly trembling, watching as Thomas carefully spread the design proposals across the large wooden table. The client representatives, three serious-looking professionals in crisp business suits, leaned forward with critical eyes. Thomas initially seemed reluctant to present William's design. He shuffled through the senior architect's proposals first, his confidence wavering with each presentation. Their designs looked impressive but felt disconnected from the real needs of the urban community. When William's blueprint finally emerged, a subtle change occurred in the room's atmosphere. The client's lead representative, a woman with sharp glasses and an observant gaze, leaned closer. Her fingers traced the intricate details of William's design, her expression shifting from professional detachment to genuine intrigue. William's design was different. It wasn't just about creating buildings, but about solving complex urban challenges. Each line represented a carefully considered solution to community infrastructure problems. The sustainable approach integrated green spaces, flexible living areas, and community connection points. "This is fascinating," the lead client representative murmured, her voice cutting through the tense silence. "Who conceptualized this design?" Thomas hesitated. For a moment, William saw conflict in his mentor's eyes, pride battling with the embarrassment of having overlooked such potential for so long. "William Rodriguez," Thomas finally announced, his voice surprisingly steady. "Our junior architect." The room fell silent. Young architects didn't typically get such opportunities. William's design challenged every conventional approach they had seen before. It merged traditional architectural principles with innovative sustainable technologies in a way that seemed almost revolutionary. The client representatives began discussing the design in detail. Technical questions flew back and forth. William answered each query with a calm confidence that surprised even himself. His grandfather's teachings echoed in every explanation. Architecture was about solving human problems, not just creating impressive structures. What made William's design truly remarkable was its holistic approach. He had studied the neighborhood's history, social dynamics, and future potential. The design wasn't just about buildings, but about creating a living, breathing community ecosystem. Green spaces were strategically placed to encourage community interaction. Flexible living areas could adapt to changing family structures. Sustainable infrastructure reduced environmental impact while improving residents' quality of life. As the discussion continued, William noticed something changing in Thomas's demeanor. The stern senior architect who had once dismissed him was now listening intently, a hint of pride replacing his previous skepticism. The client's technical team began running complex simulations of William's design. Each test revealed layers of innovation they hadn't initially noticed. Cost-effectiveness, sustainability, community integration. William's design scored exceptionally high on every metric. "This is exceptional work," the lead representative finally declared, turning to Thomas. "Truly innovative approach." William's heart raced. Years of quiet dedication, of learning from his grandfather, of believing in his vision, everything had led to this moment. The room seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the final decision. Thomas stepped forward, placing a hand on William's shoulder, a gesture that spoke volumes. The public humiliation from months ago seemed forgotten, replaced by a newfound respect. "This is William Rodriguez," Thomas announced, his voice filling the conference room. "Our firm's most promising young architect." The client representatives nodded, their decisions seemingly made. William's design would be the foundation of their massive urban redevelopment project. As they left the conference room, William caught his reflection in a glass window. The nervous intern was gone. In his place stood a confident architect, ready to transform urban landscapes. His grandfather's wisdom had been right. Talent, when given a chance, could indeed speak louder than words. The morning sunlight streamed through the office windows, casting a golden glow on the architectural models and blueprints. Everything had changed for William Rodriguez since that critical presentation. The urban redevelopment project had become more than just a design, it was now a symbol of transformation. News of William's breakthrough spread quickly through London's architectural circles. Magazines and industry publications began featuring his innovative approach. Colleagues who once looked down on him now sought his advice and insights. The young architect who was once invisible had become the talk of the professional community. Thomas Hartley watched this transformation with a mixture of pride and reflection. The senior architect who had once publicly humiliated William now became his most significant mentor. Their relationship had evolved from harsh criticism to genuine professional respect. The project moved forward at an incredible pace. William's design was not just accepted, it was celebrated as a groundbreaking approach to urban development. Construction teams studied his blueprints, finding innovative solutions to complex building challenges. During site visits, William's confidence grew. He explained intricate design elements with the wisdom of a seasoned architect, his passion evident in every word. The construction workers, initially skeptical of the young designer, began to respect his deep understanding of building techniques. His grandfather's teachings echoed in every decision. Architecture is about people, he would always say. Buildings are more than concrete and steel. They are living spaces that tell human stories. The neighborhood transformation began to take shape. Old, abandoned spaces became vibrant community areas. Sustainable infrastructure replaced outdated systems. William's design was bringing hope to a community that had long been forgotten. Local residents started noticing the changes. Community centers, green spaces, and flexible living areas began to reshape their urban environment. What was once a challenging neighborhood was becoming a model of modern urban design. Thomas pulled William aside one afternoon, his stern face softening. "Your grandfather would be proud," he said, a rare moment of genuine emotion breaking through his professional exterior. William thought about his family's journey. His grandfather, a master builder who had worked with limited resources, had taught him that true architecture was about solving human problems. Those lessons, once dismissed as old-fashioned, were now revolutionizing urban development. Industry conferences invited William to speak. Young architects looked up to him as an inspiration. The boy who was once overlooked had become a beacon of innovation in the architectural world. The project's success brought multiple awards. William stood on stage, accepting recognition not just for himself, but for every young professional who had been overlooked. His grandfather's old construction tools sat in his office, a reminder of where his journey began. Media interviews revealed the human story behind the design. William spoke about community needs, sustainable living, and the importance of designing spaces that truly serve people. His words resonated far beyond architectural circles. Thomas watched from the sidelines, a transformation happening in his own perspective. The rigid senior architect had learned that talent could come from unexpected places. William had taught him a valuable lesson about judging potential. As the urban redevelopment project neared completion, William reflected on his journey. From a quiet, overlooked intern to a respected architect, his path had been anything but traditional. Each challenge had been a stepping stone, each criticism a motivation to prove his worth. The neighborhood that was once struggling now stood as a testament to innovative design. Green spaces flourished, community connections strengthened, and hope seemed to grow with every new building. William's design had done more than create buildings. It had created a community, transformed lives, and proven that true potential cannot be contained by age or position. As evening approached and the construction site quieted, William looked out over the transformed landscape. His grandfather's words came back to him: architecture is about creating spaces where human stories can unfold. And in that moment, he knew his own story was just beginning. 6 months had passed since William Rodriguez's groundbreaking urban design project transformed the London architectural landscape. The once overlooked intern now stood as a respected architect, his journey a testament to passion and perseverance. Hartley and Associates had changed dramatically. The firm that once dismissed young talent now actively sought innovative approaches. William's success had become a turning point, inspiring a new generation of architects to think differently about urban design. The urban redevelopment project won multiple prestigious awards. Architectural magazines featured William's innovative approach on their covers. Young students studied his design as a modern case study of community-focused architecture. During the National Architectural Awards ceremony, William stood on the stage, his hands slightly trembling as he accepted the highest honor. His family sat in the audience, his elderly parents, his siblings, and most importantly, the memory of his grandfather who had first inspired his love for design. "This award is not just mine," William said, his voice clear and strong. "It belongs to every person who believes that architecture can change lives." The audience erupted in applause. Thomas Hartley, sitting in the front row, watched with a mixture of pride and reflection. The senior architect who had once publicly humiliated William now considered him a protégé, a true architectural talent. Back at the office, William's workspace told a story of transformation. Photographs of the completed urban project hung alongside his original sketches. Each image represented a journey from doubt to triumph. The neighborhood that was once struggling now stood as a beacon of hope. Community centers bustled with activity. Green spaces brought people together. Sustainable infrastructure reduced environmental impact. William's design had done more than create buildings, it had created a living, breathing community. Young architects began seeking William's guidance. He remembered his own struggles and made time to mentor those who felt overlooked. Every conversation was an opportunity to inspire, to show that potential comes in many forms. His grandfather's old construction tools remained in his office, a constant reminder of where his journey began. Sometimes, during quiet moments, William would hold these tools, feeling the connection to his family's legacy of building and creating. The firm started a new initiative inspired by William's approach, an annual program supporting young architects with innovative community-focused designs. Thomas personally oversaw the program, ensuring that talent would never again be overlooked. Media interviews revealed the human story behind the design. William spoke about community needs, sustainable living, and the importance of designing spaces that truly serve people. His words inspired architects and urban planners across the country. During weekend workshops, William shared his journey. He talked about his grandfather's teachings, about believing in oneself, about turning challenges into opportunities. Students listened with rapt attention, seeing in him a role model who had transformed limitation into innovation. The neighborhood continued to evolve. What was once a challenging urban space now represented hope. Children played in carefully designed community spaces. Elderly residents found connection in new community centers. William's design had created more than buildings, it had created human connections. His family watched his journey with immense pride. The quiet boy who once sat listening to his grandfather's stories about construction had become a visionary architect. Every award, every recognition was a tribute to those early lessons of patience, creativity, and understanding. Thomas Hartley, now more mentor than critic, often reflected on that moment when he had dismissed William's early sketches. Sometimes, he would tell young architects, the most revolutionary ideas come from the most unexpected places. As another year approached, William continued to push architectural boundaries. Each design carried the legacy of his grandfather, the lessons from his struggles, and a deep commitment to creating spaces that improve human lives. The city looked different now. William's approach had inspired a new way of thinking about urban design. Architecture was no longer just about creating structures, but about solving human challenges, connecting communities, and creating hope. Standing by his office window, William looked out at the transformed landscape. His journey from an overlooked intern to a celebrated architect was complete. But he knew this was not an ending, it was just another beginning.